Welcome back, folks at home. It's Baldr-dash, the award-winning primetime television game show where you quiz your family and friends or yourself on whether a statement about a Norse god or mythological figure is preserved in the written records of medieval Iceland, chiefly the Eddas, written down in the 1200s AD, or is a figment of imagination or interpretation of 19th century or even 21st century scholars or weirdos. I'm your host, Jackson Crawford. For each of the 5 statements that I make, you guess true, as in actually written down in the 1200s in Iceland, or false, as in no one is perhaps making a statement that it's globally, cosmically must be false, but is not attested in the Middle Ages and is really a work of modern interpretation or imagination, and you can't find it written in a medieval manuscript. But you can probably find it on a popular modern website or book. All right, number 1. The name of Baldrs Hall translates to Broad Vista, not unlike the broad vista of Pike National Forest and the distant Pikes Peak that you can get behind me here. I'll give you a moment to consider. Well, that's true. In Grímnismál, stanza 12, Grímnismál being a poem of the poetic Edda, where Odin is tortured and then gives some information about different realms in the Norse cosmos. Odin says Breiðablik, which is pretty straightly translatable as Broad Vista, is the 7th home, and there Baldr has built his halls. I know in that land there are the fewest things to fear. Now, we don't really know anything about Broad Vista or Breiðablik, but there we have it stated that it exists. Number 2 statement to consider, true or false. Baldrs Rune is this symbol, the rune of sunshine, and Baldr himself is the god of sunshine. Bam, bam. On several levels, there are falsehoods built into this statement. One is that that is the letter ash. It is used to write Old Norse in the Roman alphabet, the alphabet that actually the manuscripts we have today are written in. Same alphabet with some different adaptations it's used to write English today, but it's not a rune. There's also, as you would know from, for example, my video where I talk about runes as letters versus symbols, we do not have information from the Middle Ages about runes as being, symbolic or embodying particular things. They have names. We don't necessarily know that means that they, embody the thing they're named for any more than, saying that A is for alligator means that the letter A embodies alligators. And then the statement that Baldr is a god of sunshine. You will find that kind of statement made in popular websites and books because often Baldr's death is associated as some kind of allegorical thing to do with the the winter solstice or the sunset or something to do with the sun. Not a word of anything like that symbolic or allegorical association with the sun is in medieval literature. So we don't know, and personally I doubt, but you can make a colorable case for, but we don't know that there's any medieval or pre-medieval connection between Baldr and the sun or sunshine. These god of labels are really the work of modern interpreters and modern imaginations. All right, your third statement to evaluate for truth or falsehood. Baldr's number of power is 9. Bam, bam. This is another one of those things that you often find on modern websites where, you know, gods are associated not just with roles, like he's the god of the sun or the god of war or something like that, or like this rune is associated with them, but you get these weird associations with numbers. Now, 9 is an important number in Norse myth, but there is no specific association of it with Baldr in particular more than with some other god or figure. So this is another one of those statements that I just want to encourage you to evaluate very skeptically when you come upon that statement or other statements in websites and books. I just heard one of the wolves at the wolf rescue. Oh man, I doubt you heard that. The wolf rescue is over that way. But, well, it's always neat for me. Oh, I'm breaking my game show host character, I guess. All right, number 4 statement to evaluate. Baldr is noted for having bad dreams. The wolves are still howling. Ding ding, this statement is in fact in the Eddas. In fact, there is an entire poem called Baldrs Draumar, Baldr's Dreams, in which Baldr's not actually a character per se, but Odin, responding to Baldr's bad dreams about his fate, goes down to hell to find out what Baldr's bad dreams are about. And of course, it turns out they're about his upcoming death and travel to hell. They're still going at it. I hope you all can hear that a little bit. All right. Number 5, evaluate this quotation for whether it comes from the Eddas or from some modern interpretation or imagination. Quote, Baldr's brother was born early. Odin's son began fighting at a night old. He never washed his hands nor combed his hair until he brought Baldr's shooter to the funeral pyre. Ding ding, that is true. That is a on-the-spot translation because I have access to the Old Norse text right where I'm at, but not to my own publishing this translation of Völuspá as preserved in the Codex Regius manuscript, stanzas 31 to 32. So as strange as this is, as difficult as it is to understand what exactly might be going on here, you know, or why is Baldrs Son, and it turns out this is Völi. Why does he have to be born you know, right away? Why does he have to begin fighting a night old? Why does he not have to wash his hands and comb his hair until he's killed the killer of Baldr, who in this interpretation is Hodr, the blind god, not Loki? You can see my video about Baldr's death for some of the reasons why that might be. You know, we don't know why this is, and it's really, really fundamentally weird in a way that 21st century interpretations or even 19th and 20th century interpretations might not be to us, because we think like 19th or 20th or 21st century people, look for certain things in stories, expect certain things of stories. But the Viking Age and medieval poets bring a certain dream logic and a very different culture and a very different storytelling culture to these poems and stories. And you know, I like to talk about the dream logic of myth, about, like, you know, why does he have to not wash his hands or comb his hair before he kills the killer of Baldr? Well, it's not unlike how in a dream maybe you have to, you know, for reasons that are not explicable even in the dream, you have to wear purple shoes before you climb Pike's Peak and wrestle the mountain lion that turns into, you know, one of your brother's exes or something at the top, right? Like, what, right? It's weird. It's not logical. It's not necessarily even chronologically contiguous in our understanding of those terms. Real myth is really, really weird, and often less obviously symbolic or allegorical than, again, 19th, 20th, or 21st century modern writers would interpret or create. So what I wanted to do with this, and let me know on Patreon if you enjoy this kind of video. It was kind of inspired by the rune or not idea. And then I can't remember who suggested the Baldr-dash idea using that title. It might have been, oh crap. I know what group I was in, so I don't know if it was my brother or my sister or my cousin or Luke Gordon, but anyway, if you like this, let me know, and I'll do some more like this without Baldr specifically. I think that it's more than anything else, a good reminder of the kind of meta fact that you can get kind of attuned to what type of information is really there in the Eddas and what type isn't. And that can help protect you from some of the hogwash that gets circulated on the internet. And, you know, I know how big budget publishers work. Often just gets recycled from the crappiest websites into the most expensive, glossiest mass market, you know, all about Norse mythology books. So developing those tools of skepticism is a big project of mine on this channel and in my broader public education work. And hopefully I've made this halfway interesting and entertaining as a way to practice those skills. And thank you once again to Patreon. You really do make all of this possible. And from the foothills of Pikes Peak in beautiful Colorado, I'm wishing every one of you